StreamYard. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Persuasion by the Pint. I'm Jonathan Taylor along with
Sean McCool. And Jonathan, today we've got a special guest joining us here in just a minute from across the pond. Man, we've been stacking up the international guest recently, haven't we?
That's right.
Like we're that kind of show where we can get international guests. Can't get anybody from inside my own town in Austin, all the famous people, but you know, we've got all the.
What is it? A man in his own country, or is man from his own town? I don't know.
I mean, I've got all these. You know, got Joe Rogan and Aubrey Marcus and all these big podcasters in Austin, but can't get them on the show.
Yeah,
but hey, who knows? One day maybe. So we got a special guest from across the pond. He's in France at the moment. We're going to be talking about some AI and ChatGPT kind of prompts and hacks, and really more just like a worldview of how this person is using AI in their business to serve more people and to make their life easier some days and things like that. Right.
Yep.
So kind of continuing that conversation that we've had a few times. I'll let you, and just for those listening also, we had a little bit of a break. So we were off a little bit.
Between been off 2 weeks. It feels like it's been longer, but
because our guest had the nerve to have a baby like 2 days before he was scheduled to come on previously.
Yeah. So really put us in a bind.
I know.
Makes a lot, you know.
So
we let him off. That was a decent excuse.
That's one of the better excuses. Yeah. We may need to see a birth certificate to prove. But it's a pretty good excuse as excuses go. So you and I are on the other end. We're in the empty nester mode.
That's right. But we can vaguely remember those days.
Vaguely.
Of newborn.
I think back in our day, though, we weren't as involved as fathers are today.
Yeah.
In that first couple weeks.
Yeah.
Months.
Yeah.
I wasn't, at least. I know that. So
I was for a little while and had to get back to the grind. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So I'll let you read the bio, bring them on. And
all right. Well, we have Gasper, and we'll say Gasper C. It's Crepinsek. I'm going to I butchered it again because I've already forgotten, but he'll correct me when he comes on. But this guy, we're going to be talking AI prompting. He is what did we term Sean before? He's an AI.
He's a
scientist,
rebelpreneur, and AI experimenter.
AI experimenter. Yes, I like that. So he is a former consultant who walked away from a $130,000 corporate career to join the AI revolution. He now helps entrepreneurs cut soul-sucking work and run their business up to 3 times faster with AI. He combines his consulting background with hands-on experience, with hands-on experimentation to help founders work less and create more. So he is building, as you mentioned, Rebelpreneurs. I like that.
Yeah.
Rebelpreneurs. We had another guest on that was doing the Rebel Sales Rebellion. That was the guest we had on the Sales Rebellion. So I like that. It's a movement for people who want to run their one-person business in 4 focused hours a day using AI. I love that.
Wow. That's about twice as long as I want to work, but maybe we'll see.
Yeah. Well, AI still young,
Not quite there yet.
We'll get there.
All right. Well, I'll let you fire up the audience and we'll bring him on. Welcome to the show, Gasper.
There we go. A little delay.
Thank you for having me, guys. That was a wonderful intro. Listening to it from the back end.
Yeah, very cool.
Help me again with your Slavic last name. How would I? What is
my
that?
My last name is Crepinsek, but since I work with US so long, I just go by Gasper C, and that's it. Just make it easier for everybody.
That's awesome.
He told me before the show, Jonathan works with a lot of Americans, so he just stopped trying because we don't understand how to talk like that.
I just Americanized myself.
Yeah. Have you heard
Gasper an original? Is that something you've because I like that. That's easy to remember, Gasper.
So Gasper,
like a ghost with a G, but a bit less friendly.
I like it.
A bit less friendly. Wow. I like I like the twist at the end. There you go.
That's right.
Good stuff. Good marketing right there.
Very memorable.
So Gasper, what do they call people who speak 2 languages?
I have no idea.
Bilingual, right?
Bilingual.
Right? And if
I was expecting a joke.
No, well, it's coming. Don't worry. And then if you speak like 3 languages, it's like polylingual or trilingual or whatever. What do you call it if you speak 1 language?
American.
There you go.
You guys are not the only one. I have the same problems here in France.
Oh, really?
So,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought everybody over there spoke 16 languages and had doctorate degrees and stuff. I guess not.
Are you around Paris, or what part of France?
No, I'm currently in the west, called Mimizan, right next to the ocean, so right across New York, I would guess.
Oh, okay.
But it's a small town. It's a surfer town, so it's pretty quiet right now, but it gets pretty packed in the summer.
Very cool.
Awesome. How far is that? What's in terms of miles? How far is that from Paris?
Let's say in terms of hours, because I drove here around 7.5 hours from Paris, around 1 to 2 hours from Spanish border. So it's kind of like
you're more closer. Okay, you're closer. Yeah, you're right on this. You're at a really nice area. I love Spain. That's a beautiful country. So
yeah, Spain, France is also beautiful. Portugal, really nice place here.
Yeah, we've definitely looked at doing the expat thing to that kind of part of the world. So hadn't pulled the trigger yet. But well, Gasper, before we tell us like why might people want to stick around for the rest of the podcast? What's some goals you might be willing to drop?
I mean, I think the most important one is that I have a little bit of a different perspective on AI compared to everybody else, in a sense that I like to use AI to actually help with business, not just sell some bullshit. And today I'm going to show you how I'm using AI. Well, we can speak a little bit about how I'm using AI in my business. Because one thing that I have found talking with a lot of my clients and stuff is you don't know what you don't know, right? And there's a lot of AI educators who say, oh, AI can solve everything. But then you ask them, what is everything? Oh, you know everything. Okay, but what is everything? Everything, right? And I kind of like to cut through that bullshit from my consulting mindset and go, okay, these are the use cases. This is how I'm using this. And this is also where it falls short. So today we can go a little bit through it and really see how an entrepreneur or a solopreneur or a creator or a marketer at the end of the day could use it inside their business.
Interesting, because I think a lot of the people we've had on, it's been definitely just because the nature of the show and things, it's geared more towards specific outputs like copy and marketing materials and things like that. It sounds like you're kind of leaning some admin tasks and some other things.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I kind of don't use it for copy that much. I use it more as a copy coach, but I still write my copy myself for my launches.
Okay, cool. So we'll get to kind of see more of the behind the scenes employee type stuff as opposed to just, content stuff. So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we jump into that, let's jump into our juvenile beer talk, where we'll talk about our beers and bore a couple people that are listening in.
No way.
You can hit the skip 30 if you're on, depending on what platform you're on, and skip a few times.
Or open a beer. Huh?
Yeah. Or maybe join us for once and stop being such a,
We refuse to eliminate this part of our.
We're not eliminating.
This is
the best part of our week right here. So, all right. So Gasper, the guest, goes first. What fine beverage are you drinking over there in France this evening?
Okay. I'm going to disappoint you guys. Today I'm drinking Heineken. And the reason why I'm drinking Heineken is because I'm in the part of France where blonde beers are very much at the forefront. And I'm not a big fan of blonde beers. I like IPAs and other craft beers as well, lagers. And Heineken was kind of my default option when I didn't find anything. So I was like, okay, Heineken will do for tonight.
Yeah. Well, they got a nice bottle. We'll give them that.
Yeah. And it tastes pretty okay.
I don't mind a Heineken every now and then. I like it during the summertime. During the summertime, not so much during the cold.
Yeah, and it's not common enough over here. I mean, you can get it anywhere, but it's not like something that people drink on a regular basis here for the most part. Yeah. So it is a nice, refreshing kind of switch. So I don't really have a problem.
I love that.
So, all right. Well, Jonathan, what do you have? You said you have something new.
Something new. So this is a praline, a chestnut praline is what it's called.
Nice.
Let me show you here. Pull it up. By Southern Tier Brewing Company.
Very
Imperial
festive.
Perfect for the holidays, I would say.
Yes.
As the holidays draw near and excitement grows for the first snowfall, gather together with the chestnut praline Imperial Ale. With each sip, the warm butter flavor of toasted chestnuts glazed with sweet caramel will transform any wintry day into a cozy celebration. I think AI wrote that one.
100%.
Probably so.
Looks pretty good. 8.6 ABV and 12 IBUs. That
Yeah,
starting off pretty strong.
12
like
IBUs. Yeah, so
should be nice.
Yeah, this is definitely one we've I don't think we've had on before.
Yeah, I don't recognize that one at all. So
awesome.
All right. Well, I have got on my end from Tupps Brewery here in Texas. I have got Ugly Sweater. So just in time for Christmas.
Just in time.
Yo beer me Ugly Sweater. This is a amber ale brewed with holiday spices. Comes in at 5.2% ABV. I will say that I cracked one of these open on Thanksgiving or just after Thanksgiving to baste the turkey. Not baste it, but pour it in the bottom of the turkey.
Sure, yeah.
And man, it smelled great, but I have not tasted it yet.
Oh, you held back.
But it smells very holiday spice.
Okay.
And it's definitely got that amber color to it. So the amber ale. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
All right.
All right, gentlemen, let's cheers it up to a great show, to mastering AI.
Yes, indeed.
Clink. You gotta have long arms to cheers all the way to France, but we made it happen.
When you move to Spain, we will do it.
Yes,
absolutely.
All right.
Well,
Gasper,
we always let our guests go first. I know you've just got a Heineken, but on a scale of 1 to 5 pints, Gasper, with 5 being the very best, and I have to tell you, we don't give out 5s very often around here. What would you give your Heineken?
A 3. It's a safe fallback option, as I said before. Yeah. Maybe 3.5 in the summer when it's really hot, but it's not very hot at the moment.
Okay,
sounds about what I would give it.
Yeah. All right, Jonathan.
Ooh, this is good. I am. I'm going to give this one a. I'm going to give it a 4.3. Very good, but
very
it's
nice.
it does have a little of the praline. You can kind of taste that. It's very flavorful. It's got a little spice to it. So yeah, I mean, it's a very festive, very holiday type Christmas ale. So yeah, it's gonna get a 4.3 on this one.
Very nice. I'm gonna give mine a 4.0. It's a good beer. It's not the stout that I like this time of year, but definitely has the holiday spice. It's definitely got that ale feel to it, so kind of the full feeling to it. It's good, but again, it's not 5 quality, but it's definitely a good. This would be great at a holiday party, things like that.
Same with this one.
Take a 6-pack to a holiday party with the spices and
Christmas.
I think it'd be good, and just the fun can with the Santa and the ugly sweater. Like it's just
the art gives it a little.
Yeah, it gives a little something. So yeah, 4.0 for me. So yeah, good stuff.
Very cool.
All right, well, let's jump in to the show. Gasper, we appreciate you joining us. Better late than never. So how is the baby doing? Because I think that was about 2 weeks and 3 days old.
Man, the baby is living its life, like living the life, just eating, sleeping, shitting. I think me and mommy are more struggling, but now we are slowly getting into the rhythm. But I think the babies, they're really like, for them it's the best time. Right? I'm just whatever they want, they get, right? And you're just like their slave. That's it. Like
So what about 2.5 weeks old, right?
Yeah, 2.5 weeks old. That's why we also rescheduled the first podcast. It came 2 weeks prematurely, but gaining weight and doing fine. And every time we visit the doctor, everything is perfect. So I'm happy, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Boy or girl?
Boy, and then Alexander.
What's his name? Is his
Alexander?
Name? Alexander. Okay, excellent. Yeah. Alexander the Great there.
Yeah, going to conquer Europe all over again. Watch out, like that. 20 years. we're all in trouble. All right. Yeah. So Gasper, give us a little background. I know you mentioned before the show, you even spent some time here in Dallas. I assume that was your corporate world and all that kind of stuff. So give us a little background on, back on the corporate side and how that affects what you're doing now and all that.
Yeah, rags to riches.
Yes.
I never been to Dallas, but I worked a lot with the office
Okay.
in my previous job. So what I was doing is I was a consultant for Boston Consulting Group, a huge consulting house from US. Maybe you heard of them. If not, you definitely heard of McKinsey, and BCG is the biggest competitor. So I was working for them for 5 years. I was a cost cutting and process optimization guy. And these jobs are brutal. I mean, you learn a lot. They're awesome in terms of like your first job, but they also take away a lot from you. You're sleeping on the airports, you're sleeping on the planes and so on. So I was flying around the world, optimizing companies, working with these huge companies, just delivering. And at some point, I felt a little bit burnout after 5 years of this, and just a caveat here, I think will become a bit more important later down the line, is AI didn't exist at that point, right? I was a process improvement and cost-cutting optimization, but AI just came out. ChatGPT just came out around the time that I left, right? So I basically quit on the spot at one day and bought a one-way ticket to Southeast Asia, where I spent the next 13 months going around doing all crazy stuff, partying, but also doing meditations, breath work, 7-day water fasts, and everything in between, right? And kind of like trying to find what business to get into. And I was really pushing this consulting away, right? Everything that was remotely similar, I was like, no, this is not for me. I need to move on. So I was doing like coaching and everything. But at some point I came back to AI, and it's funny because it's again this process improvement and operational mindset. So that's been my story in a nutshell. We can dive deep into certain parts. There's a lot of interesting stories to be shared, or maybe also not to be shared. Depends how NSFW this podcast is. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But
no,
jokes.
I love that because not a lot of the people that we bring on have a corporate background, especially that kind of high level consulting. So I'm very curious to hear about how those processes and those systems that you learned in that process and how you view AI from that world and bringing it into an entrepreneurial world, especially. Like, I think that's a unique unique thing that we haven't heard much of. So yeah, tell us, who do you serve now? And then what do you help them do? Like, if you had to boil it down to your help statement or whatever you want to call it, like, who do you now help, and specifically, how do you help them? And then we'll get into some examples and details and all that.
I think every marketer or businessman struggles for a long time to really nail down the customer audience, right? You think you nailed it, and then you go back and you're like, oh no, this is actually not. But I kind of would say people who are in their business for at least a year, because I found that people who are in their business for at least a year, they are more likely to continue, right? There's a lot of dropouts in the first year, and then building those relationships is really intensive, and then people go do something else. So at least 1 year, one person business, solopreneur if you want, and kind of like creating this sort of content, so present on some platforms, maybe Twitter, maybe doing podcasts, maybe doing YouTube, and definitely sending emails. Kind of like I'm trying to essentially, you mentioned at the beginning that I'm an experimenter, right? And we talked about a little bit. And the thing that I do, I think differently to many other AI educators, is that I am a bit egoistically solving my own problems. And once I find a solution, then I actually package that and sell it to others, right? Because it's much easier for me to feel non-salesy if I already know this is solving a real problem. Plus, I can talk from my pains and my experience, because that specific problem was frustrating me for a long time. Now, that doesn't mean that I never develop a product which is a little bit outside and it's not my problem. I do, but mostly I try to really solve my own problems first and then package the solutions. So how I'm helping them is, this is one piece that I just mentioned. And the second piece is that I did this 30-day ChatGPT mastery course. At this point, I ran it 3 times. It's a rolling launch. So I open close it 2-3 times per year. And I think I have around 200 students that went through it. And this is also how we came into the sphere, because my friend John was promoting me, and I think Jonathan then reached out.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, because I think a lot of people are trying to create products that they think will sell, or they think are hot, or they think are trendy. Yeah. But I've been listening to Rick Rubin a lot lately. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's all over Instagram, and the record producer, and he talks about you should really only create for yourself, because it'll be the truest version of you. And what and if you can create for yourself, whether that's like an artistic thing or a business problem solution, it's going to come across as more authentic than anything else you can do. So I love that you're kind of taking that approach to fix your own problem. And then once you see it works, then offer it to people, because there's going to be other people like you.
Yeah, absolutely. You're running into the same problem you are.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree. I mean, there is a caveat, right? At the beginning, when you're just starting out, it's a great advice, right? You are the niche, just do what you're passionate about. But it's also scary advice, right? It's easier to follow these gurus who tell you what to do, because I feel in life, and this is my spiritual journey in Asia, is people are very bad at taking responsibility for their actions and the outcomes of their actions. And that's why they always are searching for somebody, not everybody, obviously, but we are all searching for somebody that would show us this path. But the path of them might not work for you, and will probably not, right? You need to kind of carve your own path in the world. So that's what I'm trying to do here with AI and business.
Yeah, I think can
you give us an example of one problem, very specific problem that you were able to solve, that you were able to share with others?
Yeah. So my thinking behind this is AI is a bit different, as I mentioned at the beginning. So my position is you can only outsource the skills to AI that you first master yourself, right?
Yeah.
So not a lot of people want to hear this, because people are searching for quick hacks and quick solutions. But what do I mean by that, right? I dive deep into Twitter, right? And I built it to, at that point, I think 5,000 followers in, let's say, 7-8 months, right? Sure. But I didn't really enjoy Twitter. Like it was burning me out. Everything was turning into rage bait, into you need to DM, and I don't want to DM 100 people. I love to speak with you guys, and I love to speak with people that inspire me, but I don't want to like leave 200 comments for the sake of comments. So I was thinking the first problem that I solved for myself was like, okay, think about this. I'm just giving you a little bit my mental process here. Not everything should be outsourced to AI, right? There are things in business that you enjoy. So I asked myself first, what do you enjoy? Okay, I enjoy building products, and I enjoy writing daily emails. Okay, cool. So this stays in my domain, okay? There are certain parts there that I optimize. For example, subject lines. I have my own AI that writes subject lines to test and so on. But primarily, I write emails myself. Do I, from time to time, write them with AI if I'm hangover, maybe tomorrow? So Saturdays I don't send them. But if I would, in the past I did, maybe I would use AI, right? But then Twitter, I really didn't like. So, but I spent a lot of time learning about it. So I codified I distilled down the knowledge that I had about what makes a great post, how to write the hooks, and so on and so forth. And I put them down in specific GPTs at that point, and I tested them out. So at some point, instead of me spending every Thursday the whole day writing content for Twitter, I had it written in 2 to 3 hours. I had like 1 or 2 months of posts, right? And I didn't find that people were not that it was performing worse, right? So then I packaged that solution, and I tested it with a few other bigger creators than me on Twitter. Their posts were doing good. So that's one of the systems, for example, that I packaged specifically. And I always market it like nobody sign up for this game to be a slave to algorithm gods, right? And Elon Musk and so on. So just use this and focus on the pieces of business where you're actually delivering value and serving people, right? I even took it further. This product I never released, and I don't know if I will, but I now have an agent that essentially takes my daily emails and every day I send an email, the agent takes it, and in my own voice with my ideas, breaks it down into, let's say, 10 short form tweets, 10 long form tweets. So that's how I'm basically solving the problems for myself. And then some of those solutions I package. A lot of those solutions I have for myself, especially the agent ones. It's a harder to package because you would also need to teach people a little bit more about agents. It's a harder plug and play in that sense, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about agents in a minute. I'll note to come back to that, but because I don't think we're quite there yet with agents for the average person or average user. But no, so a little pushback on that. So yeah, I mean, I love that you dove into Twitter and you kind of figured it out and you codified it and then you created I guess a custom GPT of some kind to run that. I think that's important because you have to know what good output looks like. And
I agree.
That's a big problem for, people that don't know copywriting or don't know whatever. It sounds good, but if you don't understand the output or the nuances, then it's hard to do that. But how does someone take your Twitter GPT with their stuff and feel comfortable that it's going to come out? Do they still need to have like some time in Twitter before they buy a product like that? Or does yours bypass it? Like how does the end user use that without having to spend a year on Twitter like you did or however long?
Well, I guess it depends. It's a favorite answer in consulting. It depends, right? If you're just starting out, those tweets will definitely, those GPTs, the system, it's more than one, right? Will definitely write better tweets than you do. Right. The problem is that you will not understand, as you were just alluring to, you will not understand why, and you will not be improving, right? So my approach is, I think how I envision this is for somebody who already has some experience, but is just sick and tired of doing this, right? Because you're also teaching those GPTs to your own tone of voice and so on and so forth, right? But as I said, if you're a beginner, if you're going to use this system, you're definitely going to write better tweets than you usually would. The problem was that you will at some point hit a plateau, right? Because I 100% agree on you. It's not even a pushback because that's my whole philosophy. You first need to master the skill before you can outsource it to AI. So I personally also like learning and I like mastering those skills. So yeah, I mean, that's the very long answer to a short question, but just to sum it up, beginners would benefit, but I would not advise them to well, they can buy the system, but I always tell them you also need to learn stuff, right? So you need to understand, because let's take growing on Twitter, for example, right? If you learn how to write short form content, your copy gets better, your product gets better, right? If you learn copy, your Twitter gets better, your product gets better. If you understand product launches, because all of them have components of marketing, persuasion, psychology, right? So if you're going to be skipping on this learning, you're going to suffer in all other areas as well. I would even argue, because in persuasion, there is a lot of NLP, right? Neuro-linguistic programming, you would even be a worse coach, right? To some extent. So I don't think that we are at the point where this would be an AI business in a box kind of solution, but it's more like, so how I see it, there are times in business which I distribute into push and rest seasons, right? So in push seasons, you use these systems to produce 2-3 times the output, right? For the same amount of hours. And then in the rest seasons, you lean back on this system and say, okay, maybe I take a 14-day break and I don't feel guilty because my content is scheduled. Maybe my content is not perfect, or maybe my products or whatever I'm putting out is not perfect in that particular area, but I can always lean back to AI systems, because one thing that I have found in business is that consistency is sometimes more important than anything else. You need to deliver good content and good ideas and so on. But I think it's better to just show up in people's eyes and maybe deliver 20-30% of time. You don't deliver the best idea, but they still see your name, right? Because people also don't read. Like we creators tend to think, oh, everybody reads all of my posts. That's not true, right? They see it, they skim them and so on. People have lives as well. And I think sometimes it's just great, like even with daily emails, that you just show up with your name and people see, because people respect other people who are consistent. And I checked your podcasts before, just want to finish on this note, right? And one thing that was great was the number of episodes, right? And it's like the level of respect, obviously, if it would be 10 episodes, I would not respect you less. But the additional level of respect that you gain by when I looked at this and I said, oh, these guys are showing up day after day for years and putting out episodes. And I know it's not easy. It's actually extremely hard. So opens a lot of doors, right? Just showing up in people's minds all the time.
Yeah. You know, the other thing that was coming to mind as you were talking is, if you don't understand the output and you're just kind of using the system, and tell me if you think this is true, Gasper, like it's harder to spot ideas out in the wild when you're walking your dog or when you're out at a restaurant. I don't think you recognize as many ideas that could be turned into posts and contents or daily emails because you don't understand what's going on under the surface. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And even myself, like I think like I'm probably really a power user of ChatGPT and other AI tools as well, but particularly ChatGPT. And even I am sometimes pushing myself back and just taking a walk where I like try to disconnect fully or like go under the shower just so I can spot some other ideas that come up to me. And sometimes it's not that, it's maybe just getting on a it's not a date meeting a friend for a few beers, right? And it's just like just exchanging some ideas and talking some BS stuff, but then you have these aha moments. And I feel a lot of times if you just use AI for everything, then yeah, I 100% agree, you are missing these stories. And if you see something, let's say you're walking around with your dog and you see something interesting happen and you start brainstorming with AI, your thoughts will get a little bit distorted, right? So it's again, I said it at the beginning, I'm a power user 100% and I overuse it for many things, but I'm actively pushing myself down and say, okay, I need to bring my own ideas to the table, because here's another rule that I like to follow. It's 20-60-20 rule, right? First 20% is you. It's big thinking, idea. A lot of times the hardest thing, right? We all would like to develop a product. Nobody would like to sit down and think a while, okay, what do I really want to deliver, right? What is the big idea behind this product? And I'm guilty of this as well as everybody else, right? And so the first 20% is you. The middle 60% is ChatGPT, because it's extremely good at execution, right? And the last 20% is again you, which is quality control and editing, right? And this is the piece that people would like to go away. And what you were saying before, Sean, is AI is not at the level that it could do all of it for you instead of you. Actually can help you, but not do it instead of you.
Yeah, because it doesn't have your unique worldview.
Exactly.
Of what you see when you walk through the park. Like just to give an example, I could probably sit down with chat and try to prompt and try to get it to give me some brainstorm ideas or different ideas. And it would have never come up with this. But I was at a kid's like soccer game or baseball game. I think it was baseball. Yeah, it was baseball over the summer. It was like for 3-year-olds. And what I saw out there was a bunch of 3-year-olds who are usually great at playing, right? You put them on a playground, they can run them 100 miles an hour. They never get tired. They're having fun. But this was the first time they'd ever played an organized sport. And you could see how they completely froze. Like they didn't know how to run. They didn't know if they should run fast or slow or which, all this. It was all very, very awkward. And it got me to thinking, like, that's a whole like email right there, right? Versus like living free and flowing, and then you get it caught up in the rules of business and life, and it slows you down for a period until you get better at it and practice and all that kind of stuff. But it can also just like take the life and the joy out of play, right? Because now you're turning play into sport into business if you stay in it long enough. I probably could have prompted AI for hours and never gotten that kind of example. But if I take that example to it, right? But if I take that example to it, man, it could give me some cool output around that and really help me flesh it out and fine tune some ideas. So I think that's kind of the stuff that.
And it doesn't have the mundane life experience like that. I think the mundane stories of everyday life are some of the most intriguing that people love to consume or read, is like some of the most boring things that happen in everyday life among other people, you know.
Yeah, that's the most relatable stuff.
Right.
Because
that's why Seinfeld as a series was so popular, right? It's even called Seinfeld styled emails.
Yeah. And it's a show about nothing, because that's you know, that's most people's lives. Every day it's just kind of a bunch of nothing. And you know, but you have to be able to recognize that when you do see the moments, and that's not that's something you can't outsource to AI.
Right.
Even if I was wearing AI glasses and I had an AI pendant that would record my voice, if I wasn't aware enough to notice that moment and then explain it, it would just be a video of kids playing baseball at 3 years old. There would be no lesson from it.
Right.
At least not yet.
Yeah, agree. At least
maybe in 3 years, who knows? But you know, if chat's listening to this podcast, maybe you'll learn. I don't know. So what are some of you mentioned or kind of hinted at maybe there's some more admin type stuff that can help people with their business, kind of behind the scenes stuff. I know that's one, like taking your emails and turning it into Twitter. That's a great example of use. What are some other like consultant like things that you've done with AI that most entrepreneurs would not even think of? Like, where do you get the most, like, people are like, oh my God, I didn't know you could do that with AI.
Yeah. Right.
It's a good question. I think
wow. Take your time.
The thing is, like, I don't know how broad should we go with this, but like, let's say even on a personal, let's start first with the personal level a little bit, right? I mean, I'm a ChatGPT experimenter, right? And I go to Portugal last December to meet some friends from Bali, and we're walking around, and and I don't do any planning, right? My friends, we'll plan the trip. Okay, great, right? So we are walking around, and I'm asking this guy, where are you getting these great ideas for a restaurant? And he's like, I'm using ChatGPT as my travel agent on demand, right? So, and what? It's like, first I put, create me a plan, the whole plan. And then I went in, my girlfriend is allergic to this. Gasper likes to drink wine. I like to drink whiskey, blah, 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 right? I put everything in, I got a plan back. But then not just that, I walk around the city and I'm using ChatGPT. And at that point, I'm already like teaching people how to use ChatGPT. And I'm like, I never considered this. Like, because the last time I did the plan was, I go back. It's not a huge one, right? But it's essentially like, specifically, I'm just trying to think through my task, because one thing I like to do every week, I kind of codified a prompt for this to brutally challenge me, because ChatGPT is a people pleaser, so you need to really massage him to challenge you. So I have a prompt that like destroys your tasks and really challenges you and pushes you back. I'll share it with you guys. Try it out. That one, for example, gets a pretty wow moment. Like, it's a prompt that I got response as well. This was worth more than $200 of the course before the course even started, right? And it's one prompt. And what I like to do with that prompt is just every week, because taking a step back, I think us solopreneurs, and I don't know about you guys, but this is what I sense with a lot of clients, is like, we start doing stuff, and then because we have no bosses and we have nobody around, we never know if we are doing enough or not enough. So we are always adding stuff to our plate until it's too much, and then we are removing stuff from our plate, and then we are again adding stuff to our plate. So it's kind of always all over the place. Like, on this Friday, I finish everything until 12. Instead of me taking a break, I'm like, I can do more, and then on Monday, I'm dead. So I'm like, I feel guilty, right? So this particular prompt is really challenging you, and it's kind of using this eliminate, simplify, delegate, automate framework, and it's going through all of your tasks, and it goes task by task, and it goes, do you need this task? Is this bringing you closer to your revenue goal because you said you want to, your main goal is 100K or 500K per year, whatever you put there, right? No. And then you say, oh no, but this is helping me build relationship. Relationship don't pay the bill. Cut, And this is one. This is one. I will share the prompt with you, and you can also share it with the audience at the end. And it's this is one that people really like. And then it's just if you go through all of them. So it doesn't help me a lot on accounting, which is horrible because tomorrow it was end of month, so tomorrow I need to do my accounting, and it's the task that I hate to do the most. I'm always delaying it, right? That's why I push it on Saturdays, because I just need to wake up and do it before my mind catches up and start thinking how boring it is. So that's one admin that I don't outsource to ChatGPT, unfortunately, but I would like. But where I do outsource it is writing short form content, helping with landing pages in terms of copy critique. One thing that I mentioned is that it's a people pleaser. So what it helps is if you give the copy and you say, this is a copy from my intern, if you don't give him brutally honest feedback, he's going to get fired and will not be able to provide for his family. So
Nice.
all of a sudden the grades go from 8 to 9 to 6. So that's one that blows people's mind as well. I use it for brainstorming sometimes, go back and forth. Here I can also give a bit of a tip. It's I call it active level prompting, and you're kind of pushing ChatGPT. So once you have the first batch of answers, you go, these were level 1 ideas, give me level 2 ideas in terms of creativity. And then you can go level 3, level 4, level 5, and you can really push it out of the box. Now, those ideas, back to our initial points, are not perfect, right? Like but out of 100, there are 2, 3, 4 golden nuggets, right? Which then you can massage a little bit and turn into big ideas. I used it sometimes to create a quick lead magnet, quite often actually. 5-day email courses. If I just use them for lead magnets, I would create them with ChatGPT, but I would ask ChatGPT to interview me. That's also one of the hacks that I'm using a lot. So I would go, this is what I'm trying to do. I want to write a 5-day tutorial style email with why, what, how, what if framework across the 5 emails. And you need to include the specific stories and so on. Now ask me 30, 20, 30, whatever. I usually go with 10 to 20, let's say 20 questions, and extract those. And then what you were saying before is, Sean, it's generated with AI, but it has my own stories and my own unique experiences inside with dates and everything, because I also tell him to be very specific.
That's great, because that's I think that's a way to spot AI copy, is that there's never a story in it. There's never a personal anecdote. Like, that's usually a red. I mean, a lot of people don't do that very well, but it's even more of a red flag that was probably AI if there's not a story in it. When you start putting stories, your own stories, and having to interview you, or you give it a database of stories, that you've written over time that it can pull from, it's much, much harder to tell it's AI.
Yeah.
Because as you tell this, and as you tell the story, it's picking up on your voice and the way you write. So it's going to lose some of the AI patterns and rhythms. Like, I can spot there's some pattern or AI rhythm, and I'm not just talking about it's not this, it's this type one line
or
patterns.
M dashes.
Which I don't have a problem with, but it does tend to overuse them. But M dashes has been around forever. Like, I don't great writing has used M dashes for centuries. But I can see, even when somebody's talking it, and I know they're reading on Big View Prompter or whatever, I can tell when it's AI. I think I'm just sensitive to it and stuff, but like, there's a rhythm that comes out over like 10, 12 lines that I'm like, oh, that's AI. You had me, but now I see that's AI, and I'm out. Like, it loses all credibility with that. But if you put your own story in, it's much harder to detect that, I think.
Yeah.
So I love that idea of having to interview you. If you're doing a lead magnet, say, hey, I need to add some personal stories to this. Interview me for each of the 5 emails so that I can add in a personal story. I think that's a great tool.
Yeah, sorry for cutting you off. What I wanted to add on this one is because at the beginning you asked me, how do I tie consulting back? And there are many ways, but one particular is that I had this big insight when I was in consulting that you're doing everything on autopilot, right? It was a personal insight. It was obviously nothing revolutionary here, but we are all doing stuff on autopilot. And when somebody asks us, for us, it's normal. For us, it's nothing, right? But in the eyes of somebody else, you are this kind of expert. So one thing, if you go beyond lead magnets for the interview piece that I like to use it a lot, is to extract frameworks about how I resolve specific problems for my hat. So for example, how do I think about building products? Now I can sit down and I can think about it and really pushing myself. And it's very hard. It's very hard to self-assess yourself and your mental models. Or you can say to ChatGPT, hey, extract this. Obviously, you need a little bit more detailed prompt, but the idea behind this, I have this way of doing paid ads or of doing copy or of doing products, and it's always the same. Can you extract my exact framework step by step? And then all what you need to do is take that framework and obviously either turn it into a video course, still add your insights, but at least you got the whole framework down. So a bunch of my products that were in the past, the shorter products that I did that were kind of courses, I was really struggling, like thinking, okay, what should I teach people? And then I went to ChatGPT and I was like, okay, first extract what should I teach? And he was like, okay, you have a great approach for automating your business, right? Okay, cool. How do I think about automating? Because if you ask me how do you automate your business, it's very hard for me to answer, right? But then I'm automating it every day. So I went down with ChatGPT and he was like, okay, you do this. You first evaluate your task. You have the free to-do lists, this to-do list, blah, 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 blah. And from that, I had the whole process. And all I needed to do is write nice emails, because it was an email-based course anyhow. And write nice emails was 7 days or 5 days, I don't remember, and just put them in a sequence, right? But it would take me probably weeks or maybe even months, or maybe I would never find it, to extract that particular framework for my hat. And going back to the point, it's not there that it would create a product where people would be like, wow, right? You need to add that. You need to understand what good products are, how to write titles. You need to be energetic on the calls if you're filming video. This is not, ChatGPT will not do this stuff for you, but it can give you the framework that you're following, right?
Yeah, it can reverse engineer what you are, what you do, and
exactly,
and basically give you the model to go by.
Yeah, like Jonathan, I'm thinking of you, like you've started all kinds of podcasts. Most people can't start one. If you were to ask ChatGPT, like, hey, interview me about how I've been able to start, 5 different podcasts and all this stuff. And it would kind of pull it out from you. I've got this person that helps me do this. I use this service. I use this stuff. Bam, you've got a step-by-step guide that, people would pay for. So, and to you, it's now, and you've been doing it so long and over so many iterations that you've probably forgotten half of how you do what you do. It's just.
But you need that. You need that prompt from ChatGPT to ask you, because you things that are so common to you often just overlook.
Yeah, because if I asked you to just sit down and write out the steps, you'd probably miss some things.
Absolutely,
because your brain is connecting the dots.
Yeah.
Even in between what you write, right? Your brain is connecting the dots, but the reader be like, well, there's like 6 steps missing here. How did he get from 1 to 2? I don't understand.
Absolutely.
And chat will ask you those things. So that's great. I love the idea too of your friend and the instant tour guide. I've heard people doing stuff like that.
That's really
just
cool.
Kind of everyday stuff. I think, what's his name? The founder of Mind Valley.
I know who I mean. I never remember his name.
Yeah, Vishen, I think is his name. He does stuff like that. He'll take a picture of his refrigerator and say, make me a recipe based on what you see in my refrigerator. And it'll do it.
That's amazing.
It gets it pretty darn accurate to say, oh, that's half an avocado. Like that's, it looks like you've got some milk, if you have at least a cup to do this, like, I mean, that's pretty crazy to be able to use it like that. So then it makes you wonder, like, what am I missing in my business that could be automated or, generated, that I think has to be done manually. I guess as a consultant, that's a lot of what you did when you went into companies, is like took those assumptions that this is how it's done and kind of, slapped them upside the head and said, well, actually, I mean, I don't know what you did as a consultant, but I know you made people think
exactly
different.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. I mean, we went into the companies and essentially mapped out the processes, map out the workflows, which is then linked to what I was just saying about ChatGPT without ChatGPT, right? Sit down with people. How are you doing your job? Who are you to the level of, obviously, like if you do cost cutting, ideal level would be on activity basis, right? You need to understand when somebody makes a coffee, right? That's unrealistic when you're working with a company with 10, 20,000 employees, right? But you need to understand at least the workflows. Okay, who is included? This is the whole process. So it first, let's say I did some CapEx investments optimization. So first, employee proposes a CapEx investment. CapEx is a big capital investment, right? So first somebody proposes an investment, then it goes to his boss, then it's discussed on a monthly committee, then it goes back to them to refine it, and so on and so forth. So once you have those whole processes mapped out, then you can start looking at where are the bottlenecks. Okay, why is this person included twice? Why do we have board here? Because sometimes these projects, especially in big companies, they maybe can take 1 to 2 years before they're approved. Like in 1 to 2 years, market changes, right? There are some industries, I was mainly in oil and gas and energy, where maybe the rate of innovation is not that fast, but still, to some extent, you are losing to your competitors who are faster, right? And I think going back to the entrepreneur level, and what I think we discussed before the show is if you find a way to test your ideas ultra fast and fail, then you're going to find the winner faster. Because finding a winner is just testing hundreds and hundreds of ideas until one hit. Now, some people are lucky and the first one hits. For some people, it's the idea 999. But imagine that, like, if without AI, would be very hard to test 1,000 ideas unless you're Edison, right? And different times.
Well, even he had a team of 30, 40, 50 people.
Yeah, exactly.
They were all world class in what they did, right? So he wasn't doing it by himself. He had
his own AI.
Yeah, he had his own campus full of people that lived and breathed this stuff. So, and that that story doesn't get told as much. In the was it Edison Park or wherever it was? Yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah, that's all good stuff. Like that's being able to identify, use ChatGPT to ask. By the way, do you only use ChatGPT? Have you tried Gemini 3 since it came out? Do you use Claude for anything? Like, or do you just try to stick with one, realizing they're all going to be within 10% of each other?
Yeah, so for a long, long time, I tried most of them at one point and another. At the moment, I just paid for a Claude subscription last week because I'm testing long form copywriting there. I just want to see what the real difference is. But my idea is this, right? AI is already ultra overwhelming. There are thousands of tools coming, and now it's getting a bit better. But like 6 months ago, it was crazy every day. And if you're going to, for some people, another problem in entrepreneurship is chasing shiny objects, right? The neighbor grass is always greener. So what you're doing is you have a problem, you have ChatGPT, you can't solve the problem, and then instead of taking that responsibility that I was talking at the beginning and getting better, you're going to say, oh, but Claude will solve it. And this doesn't happen with AI. This happened in copywriting before, in email marketing. Yep. Oh, the next guru will solve it. Oh, the next tool will solve it. Okay, it doesn't work. I need to go to Active Campaign. I need to go to Beehive, whatever, right? And what this happens is it gives you this fake sense of progression and checking to-dos from your list, but it's not really moving you forward. So a lot of my students, they come to the course and they have this exact question. And then I tell them, use just ChatGPT for 30 days and then come back after 30 days and tell me if you need any other tool. And the answer is mostly no, okay? No, because if you're just jumping, of course, maybe Claude is a bit better at writing. Gemini I haven't used for a long time, and from time to time I play around with it in agents because you can pick your own model, but I haven't been in their interface. I use Grok, I use ChatGPT. They're all better at some tasks, but let me throw this back to you. Which computer you have in front of you?
I've got a Mac.
Mac.
Okay, perfect. So Mac is better for creating, right? But Windows is better for doing day-to-day tasks and Excel and PowerPoint. Are you having two computers?
Nope.
Yeah, of course not. And then Linux is better for coding. Do you have the, and I think it's the same idea is here. Of course, they are better, but if you would have two computers and you would be task switching, you would be losing a bunch of time. So the better way is just master one tool. And then instead of saying, oh, now I go to Claude, if you have spare time, okay, go look into agents, go look into wipe coding, go look into something else, into copywriting, right? Why would you want to learn the tools that have diminishing return of learning? That's my perspective. Now, prompt engineering is transferable. So of course, tools work a little bit differently, but if I prompt Claude in a similar way to ChatGPT, it gives me a pretty great output. So
yeah, it's going to be within.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you just look at the benchmark testing that they put out, right? They're all within 10% of each other.
Exactly.
So, I mean, somebody will lead 1 month and somebody else will lead the next month. Right now, Gemini 3 is leading.
Yeah, it's doing it's killing them.
But it's like, how long is that going to last? I mean, do you want to transfer all your files, all your threads over?
Sure. Yeah.
That kind of stuff. That brings up a question for me, since you're a former consulting guy. One of the challenges I have with AI is the managing threads, just in general. Do you have any tips or secrets that you've learned on just because there's not I haven't found it. There's not a file structure like there is on your computer, where you can kind of nest files inside of different things. And sometimes I just forget threads that have some really good stuff in it. And I just, I can never find them again.
I think you can organize in ChatGPT, right? You can you can create folders for different.
And
you can create projects. And then I saw some people would create a pinned chats project where they would be just adding random chats. But I'm going to give you a better answer here, because I wrote an email a few weeks back. And it's something I learned as a consultant. When I have been on my first training with BCG, this guy was a former principal and he was delivering a workshop. I don't even remember what workshop was about. And he said, you guys are going to be on hundreds and hundreds trainings in your time with us, with BCG, right? And the problem of this training is that they're always on Friday. And what will happen is you're going to be tired, and then you're going to have 4-hour workshop, and they're going to tell you 30, 40, 50 amazing things. You're going to write all of them down like a diligent consultant you are. On Monday, it's going to be shitstorm at the client's office. You're going to feel guilty, and you're not going to implement. So what's the solution to that problem? Because that's the exact same solution. Just write down one golden nugget and actually implement it, right? And forget about the rest. And that's how I approach ChatGPT, because it's also a question I get a lot. I know that there are a bunch of golden nuggets. Sometimes I dive into a ChatGPT thread and it goes for 2 hours. I know it's a lot but if I can get one thing that will move my business forward in terms of making me more money, saving me time, simplifying something, or whatever I want to achieve at that point in my business, that must be good enough, because otherwise you feel a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, and those feelings are not very productive in terms of your overall productivity in what you're delivering, right? So take one golden nugget, implement it in your business, be comfortable with letting things go, and move to the next thread.
No, that's good. That's good advice, because it's easy to feel like it's kind of like scrolling on social media, right? When you're talking to chat. Like you said, you can burn 2 hours in a thread and you feel like intellectually stimulated, right? But you haven't actually put that out to the world. You haven't really done anything, but you feel intellectually stimulated, like watching a good sitcom or anything else. Like, it's just, but you didn't do anything with it. You didn't write an email based on what you learned. You didn't, anything. So when you see those golden one-liners, do you typically do you immediately stop and put that in a doc and start writing an email? Do you write it down on an index card and then come back to it? How do you capture it when you see it, and not just be like, oh, that's good, but I bet something better's coming, and then you just, like you said, you end up with
copy and paste in your notes or something like that, just to get away from the from the
So
thread.
now I'm extracting your process from you.
And at the beginning, I was copying in Notion or Google Doc,
Okay.
and I have found that I now have a bunch of these incomplete documents that are just at the back of my mind. So
Right.
what I really like, when you have an aha moment, right? Like, it's not that people. You can't explain to people what it feels to have an aha moment, but if I tell you, do you remember when you had the last aha moment, you will be, yes, of course I remember, right? And that's the thing that you get when you have something that shifts your thinking about the whatever you were researching about or riffing with ChatGPT. Then you just try to take that away, and particularly what I try to do is form it as an action, right? And put it on my to-do list if I can, right? So this week I'm going to be doing XYZ, because if I brainstorm with ChatGPT, I have 500 ideas because I push him, give me 50 more, don't be repetitive, 50 more, because I want to see all of them. But in the end, I will use one, right? I will use one or two or maybe three. And I have found that even if I go, sometimes in the past, I would go back to my threads, and I would find that I grew as a person in those many months. That I got new information, I bought courses, I went to talk with people like you guys, right? I got so much insight that is not really fitting my whole narrative anymore, right? So I want to move forward because I can go back to ChatGPT, and now I can approach it with even if we're talking about exactly the same thing, let's say building products. I have so much more insights about myself, about my business, about my customers, about the market, that now I can make a better thing. And in 2-3 months, this will be outdated, because we always like to say, oh, AI gets outdated. Our thinking also gets outdated, because in life there is only two ways: either you grow or you deteriorate. There is no status quo. And when you tell people, look at the gym, everybody understands this, but nobody thinks that mind works in exactly the same way. Like, if you're not learning, and by learning I don't mean you go and you read the book every day. You can, I do, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about working, applying, testing, implementing. If you're not moving your business forward, your business, intellectually, you're going to fall behind everybody else, right? Because there's going to be hungry competitors that are going to be moving the business forward. And that's kind of my thinking, right? Just implement one thing, really implement, and then move to the next one, to the next chat, because you can spin 2-hour chat any day. It's not that you're losing a lot, right? Plus, there is one more important thing, which is also why I warn against switching models, but it's connected to this one as well, is the ChatGPT has memory, and it's getting better and better and better, right? So the more conversations you have with him, the more he builds on your ideas and your adjustments. So the future ideas should be better to extent. Now, you mentioned at the beginning 2 theories. Number one is that it's going to start learning on its own, and it's just going to get into this loop of never improving, but always adding BS, right? Or it's going to, because we are putting these stories, we are oversharing with it, which is also has its own limitations, but we are oversharing, and it might get better because of it, more and more and more personalized and tailored to who you really are.
Yeah, I've seen that before. Like, I'll be in kind of a long thread with chat, and then it'll mention something from, just a way back, maybe something I mentioned 6 months ago, and it'll kind of bring it up and tie it back around. Like, it'll remind me of like a story or a book idea that I had. And it's like your idea with the book about, and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot all about that.
Exactly.
Which is kind of cool that it brings that around. But yeah, I like that idea of, like, if you see something that kind of lights you up when you read it, don't let the dopamine hit of that aha moment be enough. Like, take it, turn it into a X thread. Like, when it was Twitter, we had tweets, but when it's X, I don't know what to call.
I have no idea. Tweets, probably, again.
I guess tweets. Like, I like to call it a slash, because that's like half of an X, so it's a slash. But now everything's a thread, because you can't apparently just write one line anymore. You have to write a whole thread.
Sure.
But take that core idea and turn it into a blog post, turn it into a email, a daily, your daily email, turn it into, a quick Instagram reel or story or whatever. So like you said, you're consistent, people see your voice, and you get something out of that 30, 45 minutes that you just spent with chat.
Yeah,
Is that
100%.
yeah.
I mean, is the same. I would just like to add on top, right? There is enough information everywhere, right? And the reason why people, for example, buy courses is because courses provide roadmap, right? And then if you want to take this one step further, is try to actually implement the best things from the course inside your business. Try to implement the best things from AI inside your business. Otherwise, you are just busy, but not really productive, right? You're just on the surface, you feel productive because you're again checking stuff from your to-do list, but you're not really moving your business or your life forward, because only implementation actually can move you forward. Sometimes I need to digress. Also, doing nothing can move you forward if it prevents you doing the wrong thing. But in most cases, doing something is the only way. Action, reaction, right? Action, like you need to do something, get feedback, improve, and so on and so forth.
You know, I think it's important to remember that, and you can see it with all the AIs, like they're always going to ask you a question at the end to try to keep you engaged, keep you on the platform. Yeah. And you have to know when to be able to say, nope, I don't want to go any further.
Absolutely.
Right. And if you don't,
do you want this? Do you want this?
Yeah. Hey, I could make this for you. And you're like, oh, that sounds cool. Let me do that. But you know, like today I was just playing around and I wanted to take some old classic hymns and I wanted to kind of update them for modern language and things like that. So I put that into ChatGPT and then I took the lyrics, the new lyrics that it gave me, and I took it over to Suno and made a quick song out of it. And then I published it and I sent it to like 3 friends.
Oh,
and
cool.
That was like really fun. Like that was like a fun, creative use of it. And I was like, man, I bet I could like create an Instagram profile with nothing. I mean, I could probably do, 500 hymns over the next year and a half, just post one a day.
Right.
And that'd be a lot of fun, creative endeavor. So, little things like that can pop up. Cool. And, but I could have also just stayed in the thread and like done 100 hymns and new lyrics and never taken them over to the next place.
Hey, do you want this? Do you want this?
Hey, I can do this. I can do this. Hey, how about whatever. It's like,
I'm
done. Like, let me use this first. So you have to have some self-control, I think,
of course,
to know, because it is designed to keep you paying that monthly subscription,
Yeah.
Even if it's free, like it's designed to keep you there so you'll eventually upgrade to the subscription.
Right.
Or they will add ads. Let's see what happens first.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw that I saw yesterday that Claude was going to go public, have an IPO. I was like, well, there goes that platform. Because as soon as it goes public, like then it's a profit game. And next thing you know, there's ads, there's higher membership fees or whatever. So
of course,
so who knows? Or they may have new money and they can do some cool stuff with it. Like at first it'll probably be new money and it'll be great and have some cool new features, but then
over time it'll
get corporatized and it'll be it'll be awful. So
we get watered down. You'll get ads.
So Gasper, let's talk big picture and then we'll start wrapping up and find out where people can learn more about you and your programs, your courses, and all that stuff. Where do you kind of see AI? Like, where do you fall in the camp of like where AI is going? Is it Terminator? Is it like, and over what time period?
I can guess what his answer will be.
I think AI is here to stay, but at this point in time and for, let's say, the next few years, it's a tool, right? And I think people, including me at some point, think, because at the end of the day, like ChatGPT is still generating text based on the inputs that it has, right? It's not really creating, there's no AGI, artificial general intelligence, that is thinking, right? But when we talk about it, we sometimes have a feeling, wow, this is actually thinking. It's kind of like a friend. So what I feel is like, I personally, I'll speak what I plan to do, is I want to be at the forefront. I think it's an awesome tool. I think it helps you a lot. And to support your business, both for, as I said before, push and rest seasons. And I think, but it needs to be treated as that. It needs to be treated. This is a tool for me to. AI can't be the end goal, right? You don't want to learn AI. You want to learn AI to have more freedom, have more time personally, to spend more time, more present time with my kid and my girlfriend, right? So that's kind of like a short term. I think in the long term, it's going to get interesting to where we can get with it, especially if it really now. You mentioned Gemini, and today I actually read something that because that this current model is so good that OpenAI kind of has code red in the business. So if this kind of AI race starts between all of them with these huge infrastructures they're now actually building in the US and even globally, right? I think even in France, but definitely in Texas and so on, I saw huge investments, right? So it might be interesting what they can do. I don't know if there is like a Terminator scenario, but I do think that we need to be very much careful about how do we apply this, especially in industries like defense, like I don't know, a more medicine-based industry, because it's all great and fine. Processing, like a very beautiful example of benefits I see is like connecting all global doctors and really processing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of certain diseases, because obviously it will discover a lot of diseases faster, right? Because it's just going to have this compute power. But then using it in therapy with people and giving them some suggestion for mental health, I don't know if that is exactly a great idea, because you're dealing with already fragile individuals who now somebody tells them, okay, you go to a therapist and then you need to be vulnerable. You need to open yourself up, and you need to open yourself up for some suggestions, right? And I don't know if it's great that AI is giving those suggestions, right? I think, I feel like from my perspective, I would like to see a human be kept in the loop across all areas. That's my short answer, actually. I feel like I don't see future as AI or human. I see it as a hybrid where AI helps humans, let's say doctors or engineers or somebody, to gather all this data, to give them everything, but they still need to make a decision, right? They still need to put this into practice. But who knows, maybe in 5-10 years, you, me, and Jonathan, we're going to be in the ditches fighting AI robots. I don't know.
Who knows, right?
I hope we'll have some beer.
We'll be on Normandy again, but fighting robots instead of
yeah. I hope
whoever.
not, but I think we need to be careful. But I think from a perspective of entrepreneur, I just want to add this: is you can either like be scared of the technology, and probably you guys have been around longer than me, and there were technologies that, I guess, if you look back at when email came, I guess everybody from direct mail was dismissing it. When internet came, right? When paid ads came, and so on and so forth, right? But if you look back, it's like at some point these are now fully integrated in our life, and I think AI is the same with AI. I think we need to see it as a tool, and I think we need to adopt it, but we need to use it responsibly, right? And also, if it takes over, I guess it's better to be at the forefront of this. Okay.
Yeah.
It's my message.
Us and John Connor fighting the AI.
Yeah. It's funny when you were talking about the therapist, the thing that came to mind. You remember the movie Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt?
Yes.
And he's sitting there talking to the bartender, and he's like, "I'm the only guy here. Why are you polishing glasses and stuff?" He's like, "Because it makes you feel more comfortable and more vulnerable.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like, you're more willing to talk to me." And then, the AI bartender is giving him feedback and, advice. And of course, Chris Pratt's character completely misunderstands what he's saying and goes and wakes up the girl and causes a whole thing where they don't talk to each other for years and, all that kind of stuff. But like, without that human element to buffer, like, hey, what are you thinking right now? And based on what I said, don't do anything stupid. Like, I think we can't, but who knows, maybe AI gets smart enough to really nuance that thing. And Jonathan, we had and Gasper. Do you know Rich Sheffrin? That name?
Yeah.
Gasper.
I did hear the name, but
okay.
I never.
Well, he was on our show probably 2 or 3 years ago. 3 years ago, probably now, and he was really early on this AI stuff. And he was saying it won't be long until people prefer talking to AI over a human.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, on like a customer service call, on chat, like a chat service on a website. And he said the reason is because they're going to have access to more information and more answers faster than any human possibly could. So people are going to actually prefer that. And obviously there's going to be a percentage that, typically the older percentage that want more human. But I mean, look at it now, like even our generation, more people would prefer to text than to pick up the phone and call somebody and have a conversation, because they want to control the speed and how often that quickly they have to get back and all that stuff.
Yep.
And I think that's where AI has a lot of potential is not the right word, but where it has a lot of pull towards what people already want. People already want they want the perceived control of having the conversation on their terms without the friction.
Yeah.
And whenever you put a human in it, there's more friction. So people are always trying to sidestep that human friction, which is also where the best stuff happens a lot of times. It's also where the worst stuff happens, but
yeah,
that's
the beauty of it. I mean, there is no best without worst.
Exactly. Yeah. The polarity, you need that. Well, Gasper, we could talk all day about this, especially with a few more beers, but where can people find out more about you and what you do? Is there a website people can go to? Like, what's the best place for people to find you?
How can they find your course?
Yeah, so I think the best way is to go to, I will share this with you guys if you want to drop it below the episode, rebelpreneurlab.com/challenge. rebelpreneurlab.com/challenge.
Can you drop that in the private chat over on your right?
Yeah. And we can throw it up on the screen.
Yeah. Let me just pull that up.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh,
I need to. Today the internet is causing problems for all of us.
Yeah, must be.
We've already crashed it.
Must be another solar flare.
Yeah, exactly.
See, our audience has already crashed it before we could get it up.
Here we go. It should work now. It's a 5-day ChatGPT course, which is free. I have it for people. A lot of people took it already. I think I need to check, but probably for free for 100,000. It was one of my lead magnets, but it's part of my flagship course. My flagship course was developed afterwards. So if people want to check it out, just the prompt engineering, go for those 5 days. And that's where you find me. And then you get on my email list and you get into my ecosystem. And then I'm more than happy to show you around. Yeah, it's beautiful. I need to work on a copy a little bit, but just put it together quickly.
Yeah, man, just have AI do it. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I think that's the easiest way. You get on my email list. You can always unsubscribe if you stay around. I'm more sharing value sequences, 5-day email tutorials from Monday to Friday. So it's a value-driven one rather than I do a little bit of infotainment inside of them, but mostly it's just delivering value.
All right. Well, you now have 3 new backlinks from Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So you should be rich by tomorrow morning if you check your bank account. It's the way that works, right?
Wait till we post this on our website.
Yeah, exactly. So any last words of wisdom or any questions you have about fatherhood while you got us on the line?
Yeah.
A smart man told me that every advice I hear, I should smile and say that's smart and not implement it, because you need to find your own way. And I think it was the best advice for fatherhood I got from one of my clients.
Wow, that's pretty good.
That is. And that sounds like something an 85-year-old guy with a pocket knife eating an apple would say.
Exactly. I love that.
But I think
that's good advice.
But I think it's spot on, because everybody's giving me advices that are sometimes also opposing, and you just need to find your own way. When it comes to last words, I'm super happy that you guys invited me. I really had a blast here. I haven't finished my beer yet, but I will. And if I would love to do this in the future. For anybody
Yeah.
listening, just go and listen to more podcasts with these guys because they're amazing, and then share all the beer recommendations they're giving. Well, I have a question actually. Which
Yeah.
was the beer that got 5-0?
Oh man, there's
Was
been
there
a
any?
few.
There-
Okay.
We've definitely had some. They tend to be
It's
like
pretty rare. It's
they
pretty
tend to
rare.
be like the imperial stouts or some of those,
Yeah.
kind of things. But
There's probably only been 3 this whole year that have gotten a 5.
yeah,
Okay.
Gasper.
I could
Okay.
probably find some. And the problem is a lot of them, especially the 5s, tend to be local, like regional brews.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They're
Yep.
very rarely national brands or anything like that. So they're kind of hard to, we have a lot of great breweries here in Texas.
Mhm.
And because Texas is its own little region, like we get a lot of, I just go down to the local HEB grocery store and there's always some good stuff.
Yeah. I can
but
tell
yeah.
you one. Do you like stouts at all? Are you
Yeah,
a
from
stout-
time to time.
So there's one called what is it, Sean? The Dragon's Milk. That's I don't know if
Yeah.
that's
I thought
one.
you were going to say, what is it? The Smiths that looks like the old fashioned bottle.
Oh, that's a good one too. I forgot, but I know we gave the Dragon
Mhm.
Dragon Milk. That was a 5 for sure.
Yeah.
But typically, like Sean said, it's typically a porter or a stout. It's kind of our those darker beers tend to get the 5-star rating with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. We're not big on
Okay.
IPAs. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Has
So
to be a
yes.
real. We've given a decent rating on a few IPAs, but it's pretty rare because
Yeah,
they're a little too bitter for us.
especially if they're more the woodsy, the pines and the floral
Yeah.
stuff. Like if we give an IPA a good rating, it's more on the fruit
Yeah.
side or that way instead of like, I can't stand the piney,
Yeah.
IPAs that just have all that. I mean, it tastes like drinking a pine tree.
Pine,
It's just,
yep.
that's not for me. But
Fair
yeah,
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I wrote them down, and I'll try to order them. I'll send you a picture once.
yeah, I'll see if I can find a couple more to add to your list before you order. And
We even like a good Guinness, man. Guinness gets a
Yeah.
pretty solid rating on our show. So
yeah, I
Okay,
mean, if
fair
you wanted
enough.
just a pure stout without all the frilly flavors that we put in here in the US, like we got some crazy stuff that because of the clean food laws in Europe that you just will never have over there.
Yeah.
That like what I had the other day, like cinnamon toast crunch, like whatever beer, like it's just crazy. French pastry, French toast pastry,
peanut butter
like
cup,
just
porters.
yeah. Some of the
stouts.
peanut butter stouts are really good. Something about that peanut
Okay.
butter stout is really good.
Okay.
So
Send me the list. If I find them, I'll definitely order.
yeah, I'll send you over a list and
Appreciate it.
yeah.
I have
So
to have some shipped back from the States.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Gasper, I know it's late, so we'll let you go.
Yeah.
And Jonathan,
Hopefully-
I'll wrap up.
Hopefully we didn't wake that newborn.
Let's see. I heard some crying in the background.
It's feeding time. You're in that time.
That's
so.
right.
Yeah.
I assume they're not
Appreciate you
sleeping through the
guys.
night yet, right? They're not sleeping through the night yet, or are they?
No.
Yeah.
I'm waking up every hour or two. Depends. Now this week, every hour, but before every 2 hours. Let's see.
Yeah. So when you come out of your office, your girlfriend's going to be there. Your turn.
I think so.
Yeah.
With a look as well.
Yes,
Big
exactly.
kebab.
Thought you said it was going to be 45 minutes. So, all right. Well, we'll let you go. We'll let you get to that. Appreciate you being on. We'll be in touch for a future episode too.
Perfect, guys. I would love to come back. Let's go.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
Have a good weekend.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. Good stuff.
All right.
Good conversation, man.
Yeah, he's easy to talk to. It's always nice when people are easy to talk to. We don't have to pull teeth to get them to talk. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I wrote down some cool stuff, some notes like that whole reverse engineering on prompting and getting ChatGPT or your AI agent to ask you questions. It's pretty solid. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, even just like I know some of our listeners are probably like, well, I didn't hear any like super prompts or anything like that. And he's going to send us some and we'll probably add those somewhere. But
sure.
Sometimes it's those little things like that. Like I think that's probably one of the best tips I've heard is just to have it interview you for stories in something that you're already creating.
Yeah.
Because that's going to add such depth to your to whether it's your course or your threads or your whatever you're creating,
right.
that it's going to give it a lot more depth, because that's what's missing right now in copy, that since everybody's gone to AI.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you hear people talking about all the time, the copy sounds hollow. It sounds, and I got an email from David Garfinkel as we were sitting here. He talks about the stories, and that's where the stories come from, is your personal experiences, your customers' experiences.
Right.
I mean, you could probably download, take all your customer reviews and throw it in there and say, hey, build some stories based on these testimonials from my real clients that would fit inside of this email course, and that's going to give it so much more depth than just like information coming at people.
Yep.
Because people don't need another listicle, blog post, right? They want the personal stories. That's what makes it all stick.
Yep.
That's why they follow you. So, which our friend Bill Mueller would second that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, this is like third degree of separation. I think Bill Mueller introduced us to Jonathan, who introduced us to Gasper.
To Gasper, yeah. So it all comes back around. By the way, we probably should have Bill back on sometime.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, we need to have him back on.
Yep.
There's a lot of people we should probably have back on as we, we're in the 400s here, but
round up. Yeah.
So this was episode 413, I think. So.
Yep. Good stuff, man. Good guest. To all of our listeners, check us out, persuasionbythepint.com. We'll be doing let's see, our schedule is next week. Yeah, we're on next week and the week after, I think up until the week of Christmas, and then we'll take probably that week off.
Yep.
But we'll be spitting them out until the end of the year, minus the Christmas holiday. Maybe we should do a New Year's some kind of Christmas New Year's episode, Sean.
Well, I was thinking next week might be fun to talk about marketing mythology.
Ooh, yeah.
And there's a whole lot of things that we take as fact and truth that actually is based in old marketing campaigns.
Right.
So I've got a couple in mind.
Like Santa Claus?
Santa Claus is one of them for sure, but there's a lot of others that aren't holiday related. So I'll pull together a list, and we'll play with that next week. And
the old Coca-Cola Santa Claus.
The old red and white Santa Claus. Funny how he's the same color as Coca-Cola.
Yeah, that would be a good story to talk about.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. I mean, Rudolph is another one. That was made up for Macy's.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then there's a lot of stuff outside of holiday that we can kind of dip into as well. But
sure.
Yeah, so we'll do that next week. Probably. We'll probably take 2 weeks off at Christmas and New Year's, because I think those Fridays are the 26th and the 2nd. So I'm sure we'll be doing something else. We don't want to look too eager, to our listeners.
Exactly. We just we'll just enjoy the holidays. We'll do a couple episodes beforehand, and that sounds fun. A real festive episode coming up where we talk about advertising and modern I guess you wouldn't say modern advertising, but advertising.
We'll just
advertising as it relates to our modern day traditions.
Yeah, some of what we believe in and that we think is fact is actually just marketing.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We can get into all of those. That'll be a fun episode. So
cool. We'll start asking chat for those here in a minute. So have him pull it. I'll probably start with perplexity, and then we'll move it into chat. And
there we go.
Come up with our talking points and all that kind of stuff. So
awesome.
And then we'll add in some personal stories so that it sounds less hollow. So
see, Gasper, we're already implementing this stuff.
That's right.
So.
That's right. So be thinking, Jonathan, about your Sears catalog stories and sitting down in the living room.
Oh man,
circling.
You say Sears catalog, that brings back so many memories of sitting down.
Big time.
Going straight to the toy section. Yeah.
Yeah, with the marker, circling stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hoping that that's what you get. Your parents are adding up the prices of the
exactly.
The 300 items you circled. It's like, oh man. So
man.
All right. Well, nobody cares about what I'm about to ask you next, but as we're recording this, it's December 5th. Tomorrow's the SEC championship. Who you got?
If I were a betting man, I would put
Which
my
you
money
are.
on Alabama.
All right.
My heart is with
Despite the bulldog on your hat right now, you're
That's
going to
right.
go with Alabama.
Exactly. Good call. Good notice there. My heart is with the dogs, but my wallet would always go with Alabama, considering our track record. So
yeah, I think the dogs are going to pull it out.
I do too.
We'll see. I think they're going to pull it out.
I've said that
I am
many
not
times
putting money on
before.
it. I would never put money on college football, period. So
yeah, well, it's an up and down thing. It's kind of like golf. For me, you have a good day on the golf course, and then that's what brings you back. And then
that
some
one good
days you
shot.
that one good shot brings you back time and time again. And then you follow that up with just a miserable day. So that's pretty much the way betting is in college football.
That's how the casinos and the bookmakers have it work.
So
we need to interview one of those guys, man.
Yeah, I think so. That would make for a good
talk about
episode.
Persuasion and influence and manipulation and everything else, man. Those guys have it figured out.
Yeah, for sure.
So they got it down to literally a science. So
All right. Well, check us out, persuasionbythepint.com. This is episode 413. We'll have the interview with Gasper and a link to his stuff where you can find him. And thanks for listening. As always, you can find us on all of your favorite podcast platforms, and we will see you all next week.
See ya.